right, so this is going to be our rise and shine mobility sequence. So think about this as being nice, slow, deliberate. This can kind of be a first thing in the morning. Honestly, you can do it at any point, but controlled movement, be very deliberate and be perfect with your movement. You'll get a lot more out of this. All right, feet together, arms overhead. And we're going to go through a big backward hip hinge and then fold over to get your toes. All right, come back up. Squeeze your glutes, tight glutes, and then shift your hips forward. So the big thing is drive this movement through your hips. We're going to go 2 more times. Big backward hip shift. Once I get stuck, then I'm going to fold over. Brief pause. Flat back, come back up. Tight glutes. And hips forward. All right, now you're going to turn your toes out and do the same thing. So duck-footed, big hip hinge, fold, flat back, hinge through the hips, tight glutes as you reach back. All right, one more. Tight glutes. And now we're going to go pigeon toe, toes in, heels out. Main difference here, same thing with your hip hinge and fold. But now when we come up, we're not going to go overhead, just go hands on your hips and then shift your hips forward. All right, hip hinge, fold, flat back, hands on your hips and shift them forward. All right, now you're just going to take a small step, and as you step, we're kicking the hips across and creating a big arc up and over. So we're going to go 3 times each side. You'll probably recognize this as the toe touch reach back sequence that you go through. I think if you're very deliberate, like in this case, really reach with the hand up and over, up and over, up and over, and then we're creating a long line going down the side. One more time on the other side. Up, 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 hips, fingertips to ankle, nice long line. All right, for this next one, some of you may need to fold up a mat and give yourself a heel lift. So if you're not able to descend into a deep squat, we need to give you a little bit of a heel lift to account for that restriction in your ankles. So go ahead and set that up. We're gonna go hip width stance, maybe a little bit wider. Same basic movement pattern we started with, so arms overhead. But we're gonna hinge, fold, and then lower the hips, knees wider than the elbows, and chest up. Keeping your hands down at your feet. Tuck the chin, straighten your knees. And then we're gonna descend again. So go ahead and do that 2 more times, and here's a side view. Hip width stance, big hip hinge. When I get stuck, then I'm gonna fold over and down into a deep squat. Knees wider than the elbows, so head up, chest up. And we're gonna go head down and rear end up. And we'll do it one more time. All right, while you're here, stay here. And in this position, we're gonna plant one hand and rotate as far as you can one way. And now the other way. So as you do this, make sure you're turning from your chest. We're planting the hand inside so we can keep that leg blocked out. It's not just reaching with the arm. I tend to think of this as unrolling. So I'm gonna unroll my spine first, then I'm gonna unroll the arm, and then produce a little more turn. So unwind the chest first, then bring the arm, and then complete. One more each side. All right, 10 cat-cows. So tabletop position, shoulders over hands, hips over knees. Really want to make sure we're driving this movement through your upper spine. So in the cat position, everything rounds. And when we go to the cow, find pretty much neutral with your low back and then continue through the upper spine and bring your head up. Everything going up. I'm gonna do 4 more of these. So the tendency for most people, because we move more from the low back than the upper back, is they get here and dump everything through their lower back. So I'm going to try to fix the lower back, but continue extending through the T-spine. All right, 1 more. All right, push-up position. So we're going to alternate moving into this runner's lunge. Really make sure you keep your back knee straight. Wherever this foot ends up, depends on your mobility, is fine. If you can get it up by the hand, wonderful. So we're gonna have a brief pause here, and then back. Now the other side. Back knee straight, that's the key point, and then sink your hips. All right, 2 more times each way. Back knee straight, sink your hips. Back knee straight, sink the hips. All right, we're coming up on our 3rd time for the first side. So after we straighten the knee and sink the hips, we're gonna go through some rotation. So take the hand closest to your foot, reach under your arm first. And then we're gonna come up, and remember, we're gonna turn from the belly button, and then unwind the torso, and then reach with the arm. So that obviously can be blended into a one-piece movement, but I want you to initiate it that way. Hips, spine, and then unroll the rest of you. 1 more time. If it's blended, simply look like that. All right, take that hand, plant it inside the foot, spin your back foot, and now you can actually lean into the leg, and same idea. Unroll the torso, then finish with the arm. And we're gonna go 1 more time. All right, swap over. First, find a straight knee, sink the hips. Now we're gonna take the hand closest to your foot, under the arm as far as you can go. Hips first, torso second, then finish with the arm. 2 more times. All right, plant that hand inside your foot, spin the back heel, lean into the leg, and torso, then the arm. All right, the last thing we want to do is a little bit of activation. So frog bridge, soles of your feet together, knees are going to be butterflied out. Let's go ahead and cradle your head, pull your chin to your chest. So when we pull the chin to chest, we're bringing the neck into flexion, which is going to decrease our desire to extend through the low back. So we want to make sure we're extending through the hips. By moving the chin down, we're decreasing the information to the rest of the spine to go to extension, and we're going to keep this in your hips. Let's go 15 reps. I like a nice squeeze at the top. Always thought this would be the best exercise to put on Boomerang, although they might take down my Instagram account. So you really want to feel your glutes turning on, and this is about what we call a maximum voluntary contraction. So your body weight isn't going to be enough to really make your glutes work hard. So I need you squeezing them as hard as you can. One way to add to that is, all right, let's go 4 more. Press the feet, squeeze your glutes. Press the feet, squeeze your glutes. 2 more. All right, so that's just one little quick sequence you can go through. It's always good first thing in the morning. Just move nice and slowly. or you can do it at any point throughout the day.